Hi guys, and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing okay today. The weather outside is terrible, so we're stuck indoors today. That sucks, but we're here today to talk about Newcastle United transfer news. We are now currently in advanced talks to pick up our second major sign of the summer transfer window, and as well as that, after over 1 year of back and forth between Newcastle and Leicester City over the transfer of James Maddison, this saga is finally coming towards its conclusion, as it looks like Tottenham will sign the player instead of Newcastle. But why have Newcastle not went in for him? We're going to try and explain that in today's video. And because of this transfer coming to its saga as well, it's been reported by the likes of Keith Downey of what player Newcastle is actually going in for instead of James Maddison. So we've got a much better idea of the window as a whole, what direction Newcastle's going in. Because of the sign of Tonali as well, I think Newcastle just... I couldn't really see us spending £50+ million on two midfielders. I know Maddison can't play out wide, but I do class him as a midfielder. So I can understand why Newcastle probably wouldn't do that for two players. But we'll get into all of that in just a moment. But anyway, guys, welcome back. I hope you're doing okay. If you're new around here and you like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content. There will be daily uploads on the channel. I keep forgetting as well that pre-season begins in a couple of weeks. We've got Gates and Rangers, and then we're going to America to watch Newcastle. So I keep forgetting that's actually coming up. I've been so focused on the transfer window and all this drama that's been going on with Newcastle. It's just, yeah, a couple of weeks' time, I'll be back playing football again, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. I will actually be on the Tomb Review live stream at 7 o'clock tonight. If you want to come on and ask me some questions, you just want to come on and listen to me talk for an hour or so just about Newcastle's window. It's a good opportunity to actually interact with you guys. So if you want to do that, I will stick it down in the pinned comment. But that's about it for me. Without further ado, let's get straight into things. We'll begin this video off by talking about James Maddison, because after all this time, it finally looks like the saga has ended, as James Maddison, according to Fabrizio Romano, has agreed personal terms to join Tottenham. And Tottenham's owner is currently in advanced negotiations with Leicester, trying to agree that fee. He's working as quickly as possible to get this deal done. So why have Newcastle not went in for this player? Why we've not placed any bids in this window, considering the fact that the previous summer Newcastle had 2 official bids lodged in, which were both rejected by Leicester? Well, the big thing for me has always been that Leicester wanted the same valuation for James Maddison as they did last summer, which makes no logical sense in a business perspective, because, well, one, Leicester City have been relegated since the last summer window, and two, James Maddison has less than 12 months in his contract. So why are Newcastle going to pay £50+ million for a player that logically towards the end of the window you can get him for way less? Now, the problem with this deal being is that with the fact that Tottenham haven't got any European football going into next season, they will become a desperate team. They haven't got a pull power, essentially, so in order to buy players and in order to negotiate deals with players, they have to overpay. I haven't found out the actual figure yet, but I'm intrigued to see how much James Maddison is on per week at Tottenham, because if my logic is correct, I'm expecting them to be in a massive amount of money, more than what Newcastle would have offered on the wage structure. And I think that's a big reason why he's agreed personal terms with Tottenham, because it has been reports in the media that he was fancying a move to Newcastle. His agency had been looking at housing in Newcastle and potentially relocating the player. Obviously, I've assumed they've done that down in London as well, but they have been working around the clock to ensure either move will be ready for the player. So it has been a case that Newcastle have wanted the player. They did want to go in for the player, but I think, to be honest, I think they were waiting towards the back end of the window for when Leicester started dropping the valuation of the price. They never did that. Tottenham now actually went in full force for them. They don't seem to be backing off. They're going to put a lot of money into the player. Newcastle just aren't willing to do it. That's the only way I can put it, really. Newcastle aren't willing to spend what Leicester City want, whereas Tottenham seem to be a team that wants to do that. So I do like it, to be honest. I think Newcastle probably have got bigger fish to fry. Obviously, the Tonali deal was a big one. I couldn't really see Newcastle signing 2 midfielders for at least 60 million plus. I know Maddison, to be fair, he can't play out wide, but I do class him as a midfielder, and I think Newcastle probably have been smart about this. They don't want to overspend it on a player, even if there was a player that wanted last year. They're not willing to do it. They are persistent with signs, but they don't allow teams to take the piss out of them. I think they've done a great job here with not bowing down to Leicester City's demands. I think even though we've lost a player here, I think we have made the correct call to make sure we aren't getting ripped off of players, because we do this once, we're going to get ripped off for every single sign we do. So I think Newcastle have been smart in this case, and we're backed away from this deal. Because of the James Maddison deal now going into Tottenham's favour, Keith Downey has came out and spoken about where Newcastle are going to target next, and he believes that Newcastle are going to go in for Dominic Szoboszlai, of course, that being the RB Leipzig out wide player. Someone for me who I think has a better ceiling than James Maddison. Of course, Maddison now, 26, is in his prime or just after his prime. Whereas someone like Szoboszlai, he's 22 years old, he hasn't reached his full potential yet. And then move to someone like Newcastle as a place where he's going to have all the support he needs, all the players he needs. And it's going to be one of them ones where, depending on how much you sign him for, I think it's a good one. I think Newcastle probably are going to go in for this player. It's someone that's continued to pop up during this window. Newcastle don't seem to be going away from this one. And out wide players is definitely an area we need to look into, I think. I think we need dedicated goal scorers out there. I know Almiron had 12 goals last season, but even them, I'm still not overly keen on, to be honest. The likes of Maximum, we don't know what's going to happen with him yet. Anthony Gordon, of course, still needs a bit of confidence, needs to kick into it. Murphy's had a great season, but again, you probably want to get someone at the star over him, with all due respect. But I think Szoboszlai is someone that is going to do that. He's someone that already has experience despite his young age, someone that I think is ready to come into this team. And as I said before, it just depends on how much you can sign him for. If you can sign him for around 30 to 40 million pounds, I think you've got yourself a good deal. Similar fate to Anthony Gordon, sorry. I think Newcastle have got themselves a good deal, yeah. But that's one Keith Downey believes we are going to go into for, at least look into after this Maddison deal is falling apart. For me, I don't know much about him. I'll be brutally honest, I haven't watched him on a regular basis, but his stats look good. He's someone that I think can improve, someone that you would expect to perform better under Eddie Howe. And if that's someone the club wants to target, I'm going to back him to do it. Newcastle United are now closing in their second major sign of the summer transfer window. I'm sure for you guys watching, if you've been on social media last night or this morning, you would have seen the news about Tino Livramento, the current 20-year-old Southampton right back. Newcastle were in talks to sign him for £12 million. And Ryan Fraser, what the hell is going on here? First up, a 20-year-old right back for at least £12 million. That's a lot of money to put into someone. This is someone that's only played twice for Southampton last season. He picked up an injury at the start of the year, and all of a sudden he's missed the entire calendar year. So I think it is a big move for Newcastle that may consider signing someone who's picked up a major injury for a good amount of money as well. Now, for me, to be honest, I haven't watched him at all, just like Szoboszlai. To be brutally honest, I don't watch Southampton. I'll rather watch paint dry than watch Southampton play. But someone that has been regarded to be a good right back, someone that Newcastle are interested in, obviously, to put this deal forward. I don't know what I think about it, to be honest. I mean, surely in Southampton's position, they're not going to accept the deal for Ryan Fraser. I mean, this is a guy that fell out of Bournemouth, he fell out of Newcastle. Or Southampton going to want to take on a player that's got a negative attitude, someone that we know behind the scenes is a bit of a nightmare to deal with. Is it in Southampton's best interest to take him and some money for Livramento? It's an interesting one. I think if Dan Ashford does pull this one off, I think it's an incredible deal because it is a player we need to get out now. He's been dumped to the under-21s. There's no point in having him whatsoever. And speaking of the under-21s, Harrison Ashby, what's happened to him? So he came in during the January transfer window. A young right back as well, so that's meant to be a Kieran Trippier replacement in the future. He's played a couple of times for the under-21s. He hasn't touched the first team at all. I don't know what's going on with this one. So my impression would be that Harrison Ashby probably would go out on loan if we were to sign Livramento. And I think it would guarantee that Javier Manquillo will leave the club. I think due to the fact that Matt Ritchie is staying. Newcastle were currently looking at left backs, we're looking at centre halves, looking at right backs. I think Newcastle were more or less trying to get three defenders in, which is good. I think Newcastle have been so active in the window as well. And judging for a couple of weeks ago when we talked about how much Newcastle's budget was. I mean, you sign Livramento, that's the £75 million budget gone. How are we going to make any more signings? So it's fair to say Newcastle are going to spend more than £75 million. I think this deal confirms it categorically. So for Newcastle, I like how active we are. We do actually seem to be a team that wants to get as many signings through the door as possible. I think as well, the fact Newcastle's pre-season begins in a couple of weeks. I mean, once pre-season begins, it doesn't stop. Every couple of games you're playing, every couple of days you're playing a game, sorry. And for us, I mean, we're going to America for a couple of weeks as well. It's important to get players through the door so they don't miss any of the team bonding, any of the team matches. It's just a good opportunity for players. They kick in straight away. We've got a busy season coming up, and I think Newcastle will invest heavily. But as for this guy, though, Livramento, I mean, I think it's worth the gamble, to be fair. It's not too much money. Newcastle can get a deal for £12 million and you get rid of Ryan Fraser. I think it's a good deal on our behalf. Whether Southampton would accept that deal, I'm not too sure, to be honest. If I was Southampton, I probably wouldn't accept that deal, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, Nottingham Forest, we've done them dirty twice last season with Shelby and Wood. So I think we definitely can work around this. We seem to be a good negotiating team. And for us, yeah, if we want to get it done, then so be it. But it's an interesting one, Livramento. I think this one will progress over the next couple of days, or at least we'll find out more information, so we'll be back constantly with the videos. But it's a good opportunity now to kind of actually look at where Newcastle are. I think the Maddison saga, the fact it's ending, is a good thing for us, because now we can just completely get him out of our minds and focus on our players. So Baskai come back into a picture, someone that Newcastle fans seem to really like the look of. And finally, Livramento, a player that is highly regarded by Southampton fans. So we'll see what happens in this one, but I think positive stuff, despite the Maddison deal will come to an end, but it's how it is. We can't sign everyone, as it says in the footballing world. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching today. I hope you enjoyed watching. Plenty to get into there. I'm sure I'll be back later on for a second upload. I'll be back tomorrow because of how much stuff comes out. But I hope you enjoyed watching the video regardless, though. I appreciate your support as always. You take care now, and I will see you all in the next